So, Tom, we've got this COVID spike. Everyone was getting so optimistic in markets that this would be, the whole opening up would move forward. What's going to happen now?
So there was a huge amount of excitement when we got the signal of a move towards easing China's COVID restrictions earlier in November, Kathleen. But of course, what was missing was the substance of policy moves necessary to ensure that that reopening could occur without a serious impact on public health. And without a big vaccination campaign, of course, it's difficult to reopen without that public health impact being there. So now we've got cases rising, and the question is, how does Beijing now manage this? To me, it seems unlikely that China is going to allow COVID to rip across an unvaccinated population. And so what that suggests is that there has to be a little bit of a step back to bring cases back under control.
Does that mean a step back then too for prospects of recovery in the real estate sector?
So for real estate, Heidi, of course, COVID-0 is not a positive. People who are stuck at home are not going to be visiting real estate showrooms or buying new apartments. But the real problem for the real estate sector is oversupply and limited financing. The oversupply problem, that's structural, that's going to be with us not for weeks or months, but for years ahead and drag on China's growth. The financing problem, well, that's a reflection of a deliberate policy decision by Beijing. They decided to turn off the financial taps for real estate developers. But what we're hearing in the last few days is that they've decided to turn it back on again, at least a little bit. So announcements from the central bank and the banking regulator on Monday that they want to see reasonable financing being available to home buyers and property developers. And the signal there is, yes, over time, China wants to address the problem of oversupply in the real estate sector, but no, they don't want to see a crash which brings down the economy and financial system with it. And that's why we're seeing a little bit more support being provided to China's troubled property developers.